Hello there, yes. Hurtling our way towards the end of the week. Starting to sort of lose where I am. Whenever I have a few days off, I'm never entirely sure what day it is. Every day feels like Sunday, as a famous right winger once said. Yes, anyway, today, as promised, 2005 BNP Manifesto. We're going to have a look at three of their major areas. Back in 2005, don't forget, we were still members of the European Union. So a big kind of chunk of their manifesto kind of goes out the window with that one. Some of the other stuff that they were kind of interested in, like a lower gasoline prices. Quite why gasoline for a British market, I'm not entirely sure, but are still kind of burbling around. But they, interestingly, for a far right party, were concerned about greenhouse emissions, as they would put it in those days, something our own Conservative government have ditched entirely, despite the fact it was in their 2019 manifesto. Whenever anyone tells you it isn't in the manifesto, that's what people voted for in 2019. Still haven't got it. One of those pledges. Anyway, leaving that aside, the other thing is Iranian nuclear proliferation, which was a thing back in 2005, probably will be again. There are also commitments to animal welfare, something our own government has ditched. Anyway, when you're less liberal than the BNP, you're in problems. Anyway, let's look at the three major areas that they highlight. And I'm sorry about the tortuous language, but whoever wrote this is of a low intelligence level, I think. You'll understand what I mean when I get to it. The British National Party has certain actions it would like to pursue in order to ensure equal and fully financed healthcare to citizens of Great Britain. The British National Party is committed to a free, fully funded national health service for all British citizens. The BNP recognises the problems that result from lack of spending and have a number of ideas to increase the budget for healthcare without a rise in taxes. As we remain steadfast in our goal to remove the non-British population from Great Britain, we see a way to reallocate budget funds to aid in healthcare, a move towards traditional British values, and a re-emergence of a Great Britain without a dependency on other nations' help will allow us to slash the foreign budget. Instead of spending countless pounds on the issues of foreigners and other undesirables, we can reallocate that money towards a fully free healthcare system. Also, we aim for a clean-up of frivolous government departments and wasteful bureaucratic red tape by reallocating or eliminating altogether whole departments of local and national governments. By removing wasteful and superfluous government departments and eliminating money spent on unwanted foreign aid and service, Great Britain can maintain both its individuality of spirit as well as attain a free healthcare system for all its citizens. Yes, it really needs some editing. However, you can see some pretty pertinent themes there. Yes, we mustn't let the foreigners get their hands on our health service. We need to remove them from it. Kind of a pertinent theme. Obviously not as extreme as the BNP in terms of shipping people, one might say, but nevertheless they burble around these ideas, and the inevitable cutting back on foreign aid budget, which is something that the right have been gunning for at least 20 years. About 2005. Oddly. Yes, there it is. You know, it's not that far removed if you take out the extreme removing immigrants part from what a likely Conservative manifesto will be. The whole NHS being free can always be kind of manipulated in various ways. We have a free at the point of entry NHS service, it's just you can't actually access it at all. Anyway, let's move on to education, which again is a really painful few paragraphs, so I apologise for the language. The British National Party feels that the national one-size-fits-all education system is resulting in a lower standard of teaching and a lower intelligence level for Great Britain. We feel that all people have different abilities and should be allowed the same opportunity to realise their potential. The BNP believes that traditional values of education have been removed from the schools in favour of political correctness propaganda and an attempt to even the playing field. This may remove the problem of illiteracy and below average intelligence levels, but it also hinders many from reaching above average intelligence and learning that could allow them to rise up and accomplish great things for Great Britain. If anyone were to be the same, if everyone were to be the same intellectually, where would the Newtons, Churchills, and Shakespeares come from? We need to put education back into the hands of teachers and trained administrators. Our schools must bring back the focus to math, writing, reading, and history of Great Britain. This focus on politically correct language and study of foreign languages, histories, and cultures are holding back our youth. In addition to creating a flexible school system run by qualified teachers, we also seek to create a curriculum that will preserve our British heritage and instill a sense of pride in our students. We will ban all subjects relating to the cultures of immigrants. If the immigrants wish to attend school in Great Britain, separate schools can be set aside for them if they pay tuition. Their tuition, of course, will go to aid the budget of other domestic projects to improve Great Britain. The future of Great Britain begins with our children, and we cannot afford to let them fall short of their potential. Yes, rather tortuous language written by somebody of low intelligence, I would suggest. Painful, painful, painful. But if you get that, the nuggets of that, of course, we can supplant the outdated phrase political correctness with the brand spanking new one and completely different notion of woke, can't we? Yes, and we're going to change the curriculum to teach what we want in schools, because that notion of equity, for example, is holding back our white people. They're so hung up about their white skin being taught by the teachers that they therefore don't achieve. It's the same argument. It's basically a textbook thing that is coming out from, for example, the Conservative Party and others. Yes, I realise now I have the sun blinding me. This is really useful. Thank you. The British National Party is proposing strict new laws regarding the asylum and immigration policies of Great Britain. The BNP wants to stop large influx of immigrants into the Great Britain. They also believe that because of the UN Convention on Refugees 1951, which mandates that immigrants must seek refuge in the nearest safe country, that immigrants are not Britain's responsibility and have no right to seek refuge in Great Britain. Some of their policies include increasing funding for existing border controls, stopping all immigration to Great Britain from places like Africa, Asia, South America and China that have unlimited numbers of immigrants, and deporting all fake asylum seekers and immigrants with criminal backgrounds. Another programme that we would like to set up is voluntary resettlement, where financial incentives are provided to people that return to their countries of origin. The BNP also intends to establish a registration programme for all immigrants. There will be 2 phases, and that's where it goes into the very, very dodgy and extremely fascist stuff. But that initial start of the paragraph in terms of the immigration asylum, all of the stuff that are those right-wing talking points about the need to basically leave the Convention on Refugees from 1951, the fact that people need to seek asylum in their nearest country. Yeah, all of those things are there. You can still see that rhetoric. Now, that's the 2005 manifesto, basically, written by somebody of low intelligence. But leaving that aside, I mean, you can argue that that because of the sort of extremist notion of resettling people that were actually born here, which is the BNP, make no bones about, a lot of this discourse is exactly there in the right-wing press and from Conservative politicians themselves. This is exactly the sort of stuff, to an extent, that Lee Anderson says on a weekly basis. Now, are the Conservative Party becoming a fascist party? Well, kind of. It depends on, again, and like I said yesterday, it depends on your view of what you exactly want to call fascist. But this stuff is really very, very hard line. It's very, very authoritarian and is becoming more so. Any government that makes walking slowly on a pavement illegal is, by any definition, authoritarian. Any government that basically wants to forget about international law is certainly on a one-way ticket to a particular form of hell, which will look fascist, even if it doesn't meet any form of strict criteria you want to throw at it. I think, personally, we are in a lot of trouble because our present leaders are very determined to see the UK go a particular route, and they will use anything they can to get there. One of the primary motivators behind critiques of of fascism in the 1930s, when it last started to rear its ugly head in Europe, was a kind of communist critique of it, and it said that fascism serves capitalism, and that's certainly true. Capitalism seeks and wants authoritarian governments because it can maximise profits. And that's exactly where our present Conservative Party is. And what I worry about, earnestly, is that they will then decide that the major problem that we have in this country isn't necessarily brown people. It'll be democracy. It'll be you lot having the wrong opinions. Anyway, do have a lovely Thursday. Let me know what you think. I don't know. Are we basically sleepwalking or just stampeding towards a particular British form of fascism? Don't know. We'll probably have further thoughts today, and I'll no doubt bore you with them tomorrow. If you've managed to get this far, thank you very much. Take care.